Welcome, 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 geeks and nerds, girls and boys, to a brand new episode of Geek to Me Radio. Tonight, we have my conversation with actor Wunmi Mosaku on, talking about her new role in the Ryan Coogler movie Sinners. After that, Titus Welliver talking about Bosch Season 3 and more. Plus, my conversation with Mostly Superheroes on their podcast, talking about Two Rivers Comic Con, all that and more. Stand by.
We're talking TV, comics and movies, and video games. And if you don't know Star Trek and Star Wars, we'll try to explain. There are 12 doctors, 4 Hogwarts houses, 1 ring rules and more. To be the greatest Pokemon master, you must catch them all. You must catch them all. Try to catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
And for those of you driving around listening to us on the Big 550 KTRS, hello to all of you. Thank you very much for tuning in on this rainy Sunday night across the bi-state area. If you are streaming us tonight, no stream on video. Joey V has the day off, the night off, however you want to put it, and he is still putting a show up on YouTube, but you're not seeing us because no camera in studio, because I am technically inept and cannot operate a camera to save my life. But there is a YouTube stream going right now that is live, so you are hearing a brand new live show this Easter Sunday. Thought we'd share with you some interviews that I've done recently, and sometimes they get a little backlogged on me because we have live guests, and I have to put the live guests on, obviously, but these are some very timely interviews. I just did this first interview last week. So excited to get the chance to talk with this actor. You've seen her in Loki as B-15 from the Time Variance Authority. You've seen her in Deadpool versus Wolverine as the same character. You've seen her on TV and in film. Fantastic actor. And I had the pleasure of talking with her earlier last week. Here's that interview. Right now we're talking with BAFTA-awarded actor Wunmi Mosaku, a star of the brand new supernatural thriller Sinners. This is a movie you're definitely going to want to check out. Wunmi, thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I noticed, you know, when you look over your body of work, you've done so many different things, from drama, period pieces, some light comedy, action. Is there a role or a type of genre you feel most comfortable in as an actor?
Ooh. I definitely feel like drama is somewhere that I enjoy being. I watch a lot of comedy, but I feel like drama helps me, like it feels therapeutic for me.
Okay.
When, I don't know, it feels like you get to explore emotions that you might be a little afraid to on your own accord, you know? I really do love doing the drama. Yeah.
And with one like this, where it has so many elements in the movie, you're working with Michael B. Jordan. Ryan Coogler obviously directed this one. Was this an offer that you got, or did you audition for this one?
I did audition. I met with Ryan initially on a Zoom. Then I went in to meet Michael for a chemistry read, like a few days later, and then they offered it me in the room. So it was quite special, because usually auditions fill me with like a little bit of dread and anxiety, and this one was actually enjoyable from beginning to end. And then they offered it me in the room. It couldn't have felt more like a movie for me, you know.
And playing this role of Annie, it's such a complex character, between obviously what you were given on the page versus what you brought to it. Where did you finally find Annie? At what point during the process were you like, oh, this is the character, this is how I want this, and it was off and running from there?
You know, Ryan had written her so wonderfully and perfectly. I felt like she was 100% there on the page, and it was just for me to kind of fill her up, like kind of like stepping in and growing into her bodysuits. I feel like Ruth Ruth E. Carter's costume design really helped with that too. Just finding her, like just stepping into her skin. Also, Hannah Beechler's set design, being in her shop, felt like everything just kind of added a layer to her from the outside in. And then for me, from the inside out, I feel like doing the research into hoodoo and her faith and her belief, her power, her love, her grief, her joy, her hopes. I mean, again, it was all on the page, but just really understanding that source of her faith and her strength. That's how I feel like I kind of started building her from the inside out.
On my show that we do a lot of pop culture type coverage of movies and things like that, but obviously I'm a huge comic book nerd, so I have to ask you about being in Loki, playing B-15, and then getting that call that, hey, by the way, you're also going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine. What was that like, finding out that this character you created on Loki is now crossing over into what ended up being a $1 billion blockbuster?
Oh, I mean, that was amazing. I was in the UK. I was working on my TV show Passenger, and I got a call from Sean, and I was like, hi, how are you? He was like, hi, would you be interested in bringing B-15 into Deadpool Wolverine? I was like, sure, absolutely. It was a real surprise. You know, people always think that you know more than you do in the MCU, and I think they may have already started, or maybe no, they hadn't started filming, but it was really kind of like early, close to filming, and so you know you can be brought into something like as big as that, really, you know, kind of it's a surprise for you too. Which is good because the NDAs are stressful to keep for too long.
I have no doubt. And so many other great projects. Fantastic Beasts. And then you also got to play in the DC universe with, Batman, Superman. Were you a comic book person at all growing up, or was that kind of something that, it's another job? I'm not really into this. I'll know what I know from the written page.
I am not a comic book, fan. I didn't really know much about them. I didn't think they were for me, honestly. I really do credit Black Panther for introducing me into the MCU, because I didn't know it was for me. I didn't know that there were going to be Pan-African dialogue and arguments between Killmonger and Black Panther. I mean, that really opened up the MCU for me, because I didn't think it was for me before that. And so when I was auditioning for Loki, I didn't know what I was auditioning for, and I was hoping I was auditioning for Ryan Coogler and Black Panther 2. But I really loved the story for B-15, that kind of crisis of faith. And I thought, oh wow, how human to have your faith and beliefs all questioned and come tumbling down. I thought, again, a really powerful message and story that I felt like I didn't realize that comic books could question your faith, you know. So it was an invitation to me to participate, whereas before I didn't think it was for me.
And what an amazing full circle, because then here you are working with Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler on Sinners. That had to have been a little bit of a surreal moment then for you.
Absolutely, 100%. I said it on my last day. I said to Ryan, I was like, you know, I thought I was auditioning for you. And that's why and that's what got me into the MCU, you know? Yeah.
You mentioned, I read this somewhere, that Albert Finney was your inspiration for attending the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. Was it one of his certain performances? Was it his whole body of work? Was there something you saw and was like, oh, this is what I want to do with my life?
You know, Annie is my favorite film, and I used to watch it every day as a kid after school. And when I decided I wanted to be an actor, I Googled everyone from Annie, and I didn't know that Daddy Warbucks was from Manchester, where I'm from, and that I didn't know there was a place called Drama School. And so that's how I even heard about Drama School. So I will always credit that film for helping me find me on my way, on my journey to being an actor.
That's kind of funny. And you're playing Annie in Sinners, with a lot of these full circle moments for you.
In Sinners.
A lot of these full circle moments we're talking about here. This is incredible. Before I let you go, I know we just have a short amount of time. I want to ask you about what, a movie like this supernatural era. I get goosebumps as I'm watching Sinners. What is it that frightens you? What is it? Is it more of a supernatural thing or is that something you can kind of dismiss as real life? Wunmi Mosaku, obviously Annie understands, but what scares you?
Oh, what scares me? That's a deep question. The things that scare me right now are, it's more of what the horrors of humanity, what we do to each other as people. Those are the things that scare me. I wish we all led with love, and inclusivity and care. That's the thing that scares me the most.
And I think you're leading by example in those aspects. Everything I've seen you in, it's just you play these roles with such grace and with such intensity. I always love seeing you on the big screen or the small screen. If people want to keep up with you, find out more about you, are you active on social media? Are there websites we should send people to?
I have an Instagram page. I'm not the best at it, but I'm trying to be better at it. Wunmi Mosaku.
Perfect. We'll look for you on there. Wunmi Mosaku, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Continued success to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Be well.
There she goes. An absolute delight. I wish we had more time. All these people I get to talk to, and sometimes I only get like 10 minutes with them. But these pre-recorded, some of these press junkets, obviously, that's all the time I get, and that it is what it is. But we'd love to have her back on the show at some point. She's just brilliant every time I see her do something. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come right back, and we'll have my interview with Titus Welliver talking about season 3 of Bosch. Stick around for that. You're listening to Geek to Me Radio on the Big 550 KTRS. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Kevin Lloyd, founder of Legacy Wealth Advisors and the host of When Retirement Happens. Do you remember paying 28% federal tax on income under $53,000? Capping out at almost 40% under $145,000 as a single filer in the year 2000. Today, as a married couple, it's less than 12% on incomes of $100,000. Well, folks, these tax cuts are due to expire next year as your financial advisor helps you mitigate the potential tax increases. Sign up for my next tax workshop and learn ways you can help yourself be in control of your taxes. 314-641-1010. There's no cost to attend. Don't wait until the tax cuts expire. 314-641-1010.
Security and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered financial advisor, member FINRA SIPC.
Hi, I'm Mark Rolston. I could be a friend to you. You're listening to Geek to Me Radio.
And for the briefest of moments, every last man at Shawshank felt free.
If you missed my interview last week with Mark Rolston, you get to go to geektomeradio.com. You can check out all of my past interviews. Maybe you missed that one or one of the other ones. You can search by celebrity. My executive producer, Joey V, organized the website so that if you click on celebrity interviews, you can actually go through in alphabetical order and find the interview that you'd like to listen to. Click that link. It'll take you to our YouTube page. Speaking of YouTube, please subscribe. Go to our YouTube page and hit the subscribe button, youtube.com/geektomeradio. That way you never miss a show. When we do go live, hit that little bell notification and you'll get a ding on your smartphone or tablet or computer whenever we go live with a show like we do every Sunday night, and you can check us out.
Want to make sure we tell you about Bugs Comics and Games, our official comic book sponsor. Bugs Comics and Games. Check them out on Bryan Road in O'Fallon, Missouri. Easily accessible from Highway 70 or from Highway 364. Huge selection of new weekly comics. Every Wednesday is new comic book day. Head out to the store on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, especially if you have your pull list. Give Larry at Bugs Comics a list of ones. Hey, I want to make sure I don't miss these titles. He'll pull those comics before the door even unlocks on Wednesday afternoon, and that way your Incredible Hulk or your World's Finest is safely put away, and you won't have to worry about someone else getting the last copy. Join the Avengers Club, too. That way you start saving money on your new issues, back issues, boards, bags, toys, games, cards, whatever it is you buy, so you don't sacrifice your hobby in these turbulent economic times. Follow him on Instagram, please. Instagram.com, Bugs Comics AND Games, Facebook.com/Bugs Comics and Games. Give him a like there. He puts stuff up online that he has in the store. If your local comic book store closed down, say, hey, I want that thing I just saw on Instagram. He'll send you a PayPal invoice. You pay that. He ships the comic to your door. It's like you've got a local comic book store online. The miracle of technology. Look at that. Bugs Comics and Games. Very proud to have them as the official comic book sponsor here on Geek to Me Radio. Talking about Geek to Me Radio, I do mention Lex Luthor. He got to play him on Titans, the HBO series, which was very solid. But I got to talk to him. Titus Welliver, talking Bosch Season 3.
Right now we're talking with film, TV star Titus Welliver about Bosch Legacy. Third and final season is back on Amazon Prime as of the 27th of March. Titus, thanks for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So many great projects you've been in, but this one has gone on since 2014, if I remember correct, when the show first launched. Talk a little bit about, do you remember back to the audition process, getting the part?
Oh, yeah. I remember it all like it was yesterday. That's the process of, I read the script and read it very quickly, knew that I really wanted to play this character, but also been in this business long enough and have enough humility to realize that they were going to go out to every big star name to find Harry Bosch. And I was shooting one of the Transformers films at the time. So there were a lot of missed opportunities, meetings, and I was shooting this film for months. And then I had a little furlough and was back in LA, and my manager called me and said, tomorrow you're going to meet Michael Connelly and the producers for Bosch. And I said, wow, that's still in play. I thought that boat sailed. And he said, no, they haven't found Bosch, and Michael Connelly has final approval, and they haven't found him. And so I was very excited about that. Went in and met with Michael. I auditioned and was more or less given the part in the parking lot.
Wow.
I was heading out to leave, and they said, can you hang around for a minute? And, and I was, to say that I felt like I had won the lottery, which I've never won, never a scratch ticket, nothing. I realized that I had an enormous responsibility with that character because the books were globally massively successful.
Yeah.
And, this character is every bit as iconic as Philip Marlowe or Mike Hammer, the Thin Man. So it wasn't, people ask me often, was that daunting? Did you go, oh, I don't want to, you can't approach anything like that. You have to, it may not be for everybody. We all form our own kind of prejudice, for lack of a better word. You read a book, and, we all kind of cast the movie or the TV show in our head when we're reading some material. And the book, Harry's not really described physically all that much in the books. He has a mustache. He has kind of, musty tousled hair. And some of the books he's described as being kind of wiry. But our version's a bit different, only in that, obviously we had to update it. Because I'm a bit too young to have served in Vietnam, so we moved it to the middle of his career, but maintain the integrity. I always felt that it was extremely important because Harry had been a soldier first before he ever became a cop, and he's an operator, and that informs a lot of the stuff that you see with him. He doesn't move like a cop; he moves more like an operator physically, and it just allowed for a lot of, fun stuff. But the process of that was, of being cast and then the first day on set is thrilling. And that same thrill held to the last day of shooting in this final season.
Obviously, every actor wants the projects they're on to be successful, to have that longevity. But did you have any notion, did you or even Michael Connelly have any notion that here 11 years later, this would still be something that people flock to their TVs to see on streaming services? As it says, the legacy of Bosch.
I don't, the first day of shooting on the pilot, Mike, how long do you see yourself playing Bosch? And I said, I'll play him as long as they'll have me. And I knew that the material that we had was exceptional. And when I saw the first cut of the original first episode pilot, I thought, you know what, this is really good. And then I knew that I was a part of something special. I don't think that I think, you work in this business long enough, you hope for that. But for more than a decade, I think we're still pinching ourselves.
Yeah.
And well, you know what? And we'd do it for another 10. There's still a lot more stories to tell of Harry's, but it is what it is, and this is where we are. And so I feel like I think it's a very powerful season. I'm extremely proud of the work that we've done. And I think thus far, the response from the fan base, which is very, very powerful, extremely dedicated, has been really positive.
We've had Phil Morris on the show. He's been on the show a couple times. Obviously, he plays John in Bosch, and he reposted on Instagram a picture of you two at the shooting range ahead of some of the stuff, the scenes from this upcoming season. The amount of guest stars you've had on, like Phil Morris, who's an incredible actor, you must pinch yourself sometimes. The people, not only do you have this great show that you're the head of, but you get to work with so many fantastic talents. Mimi Rogers, for example. Talk a little bit about all the people you've worked with just on this show alone.
Well, obviously the original core cast and Madison Lintz and Mimi, the late great Lance Reddick, who I was, that was a friendship that spanned over 25 years. The loss of him is devastating. Continues to think about him every day. Everybody has their favorites, Crate and Barrel, and then you have luminaries like Phil, who come in, so many great actors, William Devane, John Savage, Veronica Cartwright, Jason Gedger. I mean, there's so many great, Paul Calderon.
Oh yeah.
Who is also a longtime close personal friend. And Denise Sanchez, and of course, everybody loves some Stephen Chang. That relationship between Harry and Mo is a great relationship. Yeah, I'm. The experience has been one of just pure joy, and it doesn't take 15 minutes to make that show. They're long days. You're up early, you go home late, but when you work with actors and writers of that caliber, you don't want it to end. You don't want it to end because it's a perfect storm. And it continued. We never, no matter what the response was, nobody ever rested on their laurels and said, oh, we've got a hit here, or, everybody just kept their nose to the grindstone and wanting to improve, which I feel like everybody kind of grew together.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a wonderful thing to behold. It was a true collaboration, really a genuine collaboration. It wasn't just showing up and, hitting your mark and saying your lines and going home. There was a deep, deep personal investment on everyone's part. And I'm happy to report that many times the recurring and guest actors, when we would call them out when they would wrap their work, they would consistently say to me, "This is really, I've guested on a lot of episodic television, and this is the best experience I've ever had. I felt like I was heard. I felt like I was treated with kindness and respect." Or the actors would say, "Do you realize how lucky you are to have such an incredible cast?" And I take nothing for granted. I didn't need to remind myself every single day. I went to work with a smile on my face, even in the teeth of a gale. And believe me, there were days and locations where you'd go, "Oh, I just want this to end just a day," because you'd be exhausted, and you'd be in an alley with it pouring down rain, and it'd be cold, or you'd be in 112-degree weather out in Simi Valley wearing a suit, just thinking to yourself, the poor hair and makeup people. I'd be like, "Just leave it alone. Who cares?" They go, "No, we can't, because I'm not big on that." So it was, but what a wonderful group of people. I mean, literally, it was truly an all-star team, and I'm so grateful.
There's so many projects. I know we don't have the time because we're coming up on the end of our time together here, but there's so many projects I'd love to talk to you about. You've gotten to play in both the Star Trek and the Star Wars universes. You were on X-Files. I loved your performance on Life, one of my favorite TV series. Very underrated. You got to play a villain in that. And I'll end it with this. You got to play Lex Luthor in Titans, one of the ultimate villains. Talk a little bit about playing the bad guy for a minute. Whatever role you played, Carmine Falcone in Long Halloween, but Lex Luthor in Titans. Talk a little bit about playing the villain.
Well, villains are fun characters, right? Because they don't subscribe to any of the society's rules or norms. And you get a character like Lex Luthor who has an ego bigger than the planetary system. And I love playing Lex Luthor. That one came out of left field when I got the call, and my manager said, "I know you're a comic guy, but so it's Lex Luthor," and I fell out of my chair, and that was a great experience. Villains are fun to play, and for that reason, they enter a room and they do not care, and they are arrogant. And you never know what they're going to do. They're deeply unpredictable. So they're fun. They're really, really dramatic, and interesting to play, and very, very different than, but Harry's an anti-hero. So
right.
He's a really but villains are fun. They're great fun.
An absolute pleasure to talk to you. Hopefully we can get you back on because, like I said, so many projects to talk about. Titus Welliver, I sincerely appreciate you and your talent. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Very cool guy, and I'm excited I'll get to meet him in person at TerrificCon in Uncasville, Connecticut. Later on this year, we're going to have Mitch Halleck on the show. Again, I try to get him on every year because he puts on such a fantastic show up there in Uncasville, Connecticut, the Mohegan Sun. So we're going to have a chat, hopefully later on, maybe in June or July, with Mitch Halleck to talk about his terrific show. We are going to take another brief commercial break. We're going to come right back. My interview on Mostly Superheroes. If you've not heard their podcast, they are local here in St. Louis as well. They do a great show, and they were very kind to have me on to talk about Two Rivers Comic Con. We'll have that on next. You're listening to Geek to Me Radio on the Big 550 KTRS. Please stand by.
Your feet are stumping and the jam is pumping. Look ahead, the crowd is jumping.
It's bracket season. Dogtown bracket, that is. And while the players take the court, the Dogtown pizzas hit the ovens.
Pepperoni versus sausage. Bacon versus veggie. And don't forget #1 overall seed.
Hot chicken. And with 13 different varieties, this will be the tastiest Final Four in league history. Celebrate tournament time with Dogtown Pizza and build your own bracket with 13 different varieties. Dogtown Pizza and DogtownPizza.com.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. You're listening to Geek to Me Radio.
Welcome back to the show, Geek to Me Radio, heard here every Sunday night on the Big 550 KTRS. Want to make sure we tell you about our premier sponsor, the Greater St. Charles Convention and Visitors Bureau. You know them from the website discoverstcharles.com. If you don't know them from the website, go check it out. They just had their big pirate soiree yesterday evening at the Foundry Art Center, a fantastic event space right there on Riverside Drive in historic St. Charles. A good time was had by all. I did not get to go, but I saw some pictures some friends posted, and it looked incredibly fun. There's always something cool like that going on down in historic St. Charles, whether it's a party like that. They've got all sorts of stuff that goes on in the Foundry, from tattoo days. They have their Valentine's Festival. It goes on Once Upon a Valentine, where you can interact with the likes of Cupid, and you can interact with all sorts of fun people like Romeo and Juliet. They'll help you build your own sonnet. And that's kind of a new spin-off of their festivals like Christmas Traditions and their Halloween festival, Legends and Lanterns. Whether it's a festival, whether you're just going down there for some great food, I'll tell you what, Laura and I, my wife, we went down there this past weekend, and just to walk around, wanted to get some stuff, just kind of kill some time while we're in the area waiting for a movie. We had a great time, went to First Capital Trading Inc., got some really cool stuff there. They got the Jellycat stuffed plushies that are so cute, so soft. They have this really nice lip balm that my wife got. I got her a little Rapunzel thing. They have these great Disney statues and stuff like that. But there's all sorts of cool collectible stuff there. And that's just one of the shops. This entire area is made up of fantastic small businesses. Whether or not you go check out the Soda Museum and Arcade in the North Main block, whether you pop down to South Main, go to Sugar and Slice, get yourself some macarons or some giant cinnamon rolls that they have on the weekends. It's just fantastic. Between the food, the shops, the local businesses, this is a place you need to go visit. Start your trip at the website, discoverstcharles.com. And once again, discoverstcharles.com. We always say it's an historically good time. I had the privilege of being on Mostly Superheroes podcast. They wanted me to come on their show to talk about Two Rivers Comic Con along with my friend and compatriot Chef Liz of Tenacious Eats. Here's what that sounded like.
I gotta say, man, it's people like you that's the whole reason there are people like us. Well, we couldn't have done this stuff. We know who you are around town and beyond. Geek to Me Radio, James Install.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. I love this studio. This is great.
Feels okay. Feels cozy.
It does.
I mean, you guys do a good job over there at KTRS, the Big 550, Two Rivers Comic Con, May 23rd through the 25th. Give us that location.
It is in two locations. So it's historic St. Charles. It's along Main Street. I've got this relationship I built over the past 25 years now with the city of St. Charles and the Greater St. Charles Convention and Visitors Bureau doing their festivals like Christmas Traditions and Legends and Lanterns. So it kind of felt like a natural thing to say, hey, I'd love to do this here. And they were immediately like, how can we help? What can we do? So we're going to have our voice actors and animation people at the Foundry Art Center, which is right on Riverside. People see it all the time. They drive by. It's got the giant caboose out in front of the building. And then the next building is Climb So Ill. The next building is the Steel Shop, where if you guys have been to QuadCon, they have the QuadCon usually there. And that's where our comic book artists and writers are going to be, along with some of our local talent who we're going to bring in.
Very cool, man. How'd this come to be? Who's part of this? Is this you? Who else is involved to get Two Rivers Comic Con off the ground? Because it's exciting. We've had Wizard World come and go, and there's other things that we hear about with other cons. Are they happening or not? This is really exciting for people in the area to have somewhere to go. How did this come to be?
I'm very selfish, and I wanted to host panels with famous people, and that's kind of like, well, I'll just do my own con, because it's hard to break in with some of these cons when you call them and say, hey, I'd love to host a panel for this and this, and they're like, we've got our own people, sorry.
Totally.
So,
I've had plenty of those rejection emails.
Yeah, so you know exactly. Part of it it's a little kernel was born out of selfishness, but overall, it's just, I've been to Planet Comic Con in Kansas City. I'm assuming you guys have been there once or twice at least.
I haven't been there, but our other host, Scotty, all the con you're mentioning, he's probably been to all of them. Okay. Multiple days.
Yeah, so that started out, this was his 26th year doing Planet Comic Con. He started just in a small little hall, and he literally takes over downtown Kansas City now. Bartle Hall is filled. He's got 5 hotels. They have parties at this one, and they're doing stuff in the Power and Light District. My friend Mitch Halleck, who runs Terrificon up in Connecticut, best Comic Con in the country for my money. Like, if you're a comic fan, that's the one to go to. He started out in a tent and now he takes over the Mohegan Sun Convention Center. So I keep thinking we have these corporate ones, like you mentioned, the Wizard Worlds, the Fan Expos that kind of come through in their cookie cutter.
Totally.
Fan Expo Dallas, Fan Expo here, Wizard World Chicago, this. So I wanted something for this area. I was, like I said, born and raised in St. Louis. I worked in St. Charles, love Chesterfield, go over to Alton for Fast Eddie's. This is a great community, and we deserve something like this. So I said, well, let's go ahead and see if this can be done. And slowly it's been coming to fruition. And I couldn't be more excited.
Oh, I bet, man. Like we're over here. I'm impressed. Good on you for taking it on. tworiverscomiccon.com is where you're sending people to get the info, couple locations, 3 days. You mentioned it, artists. There's going to be expos. There's going to be actors. There's going to be what else can people expect to come out for? You know, is it good for families? It's good for a pack of people. It's good for a nerdy group of friends and cosplay, I assume.
Yeah, all that kind of good stuff. So our tagline is fan focused and family friendly. My business partner, Paul, who is the owner of Cloud9 Comics and Games, he immediately said, can I help with this same way? I said, yeah, you can. There's lots of things. And so he's immediately pitched in. We kind of work this. We've got my friend Liz Henning does marketing and comms for us. She says, hey, do you guys need help with this? Because I'd like to expand my resume into doing other stuff besides what I'm doing. So it's just been kind of many hands kind of joining in, and I just really feel grateful for all the help I've gotten from people I've just built relationships with, like Chef Liz, who will be running the green room for our celebrities, because they've all said one of the things, if we go to a con, and this is from a couple different guests, and even if we don't make any money, and it's kind of like, it's kind of, if the green room is nice and we have a good time, we'll tell other people to come. And so I said, well, who am I going to put in charge of the green room then? Come on.
Liz, Chef Liz, you're going to be, you're doing what you do best, hospitality, I guess.
I'm already collecting myself to not geek out. I'm working on it now. Like, hello, Mr. Thomas. Hello, Mr. Roy Thomas. My name is Chef Liz. I'm practicing that right now.
But I mean, surely you'll be like, before you come in, everyone's required to do a selfie and you got to sign this thing. It's just like your personal autograph collection.
I'll have the tongs in one hand, a pen in the other. Like, how hungry are you? No, I'm excited to be a part of this, because I remember when cons were fan forward, and I miss that. The big corporate ones, I think, have kind of missed the mark on that. I miss the fan booths. Where did those go? Right? I mean, I miss those. That was so awesome. Sorry, I'm getting so excited. I'm hitting the mic.
No, I'm still working on where to put those handles. They've moved a lot in the last 2 months, so we're not there yet.
And even with my little T-Rex hands, I'm like, wait. But yeah, I'm like, I'm excited because it's very, very fan centered. And I think when you have a fan that's putting on a con and a professional, I can't wait. This is so cool. It's like being at the ground, the ground level, watching this grow. I'm just, and we're showing a movie.
Oh, yes.
Talk about it.
Special ticketed events. So there's always after party stuff you want to go to. So, the tickets have not gone on sale yet. We're going to put those up, but we have 2 special events, technically 3. So on Friday night, if you're a fan of just going out and having some fun, playing some video games, the Soda Museum and Main Street Arcade on North Main Street. If you have your wristband, you can get in free unlimited gameplay in the retro arcade down below Friday night starting at 8 o'clock. And he's got, cocktails. You can buy soft drinks. You can buy snacks and pizzas from Dogtown Pizza and everything he's got there he serves. So if you just want to go have some fun after the con and don't want the party to end, go check them out. We'll also be doing and that's free with a wristband.
With your purchase of your ticket for...
Right, yeah. Yes. So if you've got a wristband,
you get the wristband, you're good to go.
Yeah, it's
I love that kind of promotion, collaboration.
It's so much. And again, these local businesses along North and South Main, how can we help? What can we do? Can we have something? Cardinal Sin Spirits, which is in the 800 block of South Main. They do small batch bourbons, ryes. They do a cinnamon infused vodka, a brown sugar bourbon. So he is doing a specialty tasting of all of his liquors. Those are $35 for the ticket. And we're limited to 55 tickets on that because he's got a smaller space. But Andy Parks is a huge bourbon fan. So if you know Andy's work from Daredevil, from Green Arrow, from Batman and Nightwing, he did a special sketch for us that's going to go on this limited edition glass that you get to do your tastings in. You get all the tastings. You get to meet Andy Parks. That's Friday night at 8 o'clock at Cardinal Sin in the 800 block.
Nice.
And then on Saturday night, since Roy Thomas is coming, Roy Thomas obviously wrote Conan for Marvel Comics. He created the character of Red Sonja. He was the editor after Stan Lee left. So Roy is a consultant on the movie Conan the Barbarian from 1982. We are showing the 1982 Conan the Barbarian at Two Plumbers Brewery and Arcade in their event space. So those tickets are $50 each. You get, doors open at 7. You get an hour and a half of unlimited free gameplay upstairs. You get a free voucher for a Roy Thomas autograph on a standard item. So it can't be CGC graded. It's just if you have a poster, a picture, a comic book, he'll sign that for you at the event. You just take the ticket to his booth Saturday or Sunday. And then you also get to watch Conan the Barbarian with Roy Thomas, who will be doing a Q&A before the movie. So you can ask him any questions about his work at Marvel, working on Conan, being a consultant for the film. And that's happening Saturday night.
Heck yeah. It's like the bonus parties and the extra deals. And there's much more going on here than at Comic-Con. Like, yeah. And it's great for people that live here that want to go to these local spots. It's great for people coming into town that have something to do.
Right.
Good on you. Like, you're talking about people raising their hands to get involved. And I'm like, so mad at myself that I'm this late to the party. Scotty will probably be there. The rest of us will be trying to be there. This is so fun. I mean, I love that you're breaking down just what, like, cause it's a big event. It's multiple days. There's so many hands and there's always so much to, I feel like that's the Comic-Con's challenge, right? Creating the puzzle of things to do and then making sure everyone understands the puzzle. What work is the website the best place to like stay informed and get like the updates on maps and things like that?
Yeah. Website is the number 2 riverscomiccon.com and we're on, Twitter, X. I don't know if I can dead name X now. It's Twitter. I still say Twitter.
So you're getting some individual social channels for Two Rivers Comic Con now. Instagram, so watch for those. What questions you got, Giggler? What are you thinking right now?
Right now, I think you had me at the free after party arcade.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. And again, I'm trying to bring people down to some of these businesses because he just opened a couple of years ago, and people still walk by and like, what is this? And it's this amazing soda museum upstairs, and then downstairs is the retro arcade. And it's really cool, and more people should check this place out. So,
and you got this video on the website. Meet our guest. Is this something like
it should be? Hopefully, it plays. Yeah. So we've got our
you mentioned some of these.
Yeah, Phil Lamar, obviously, Maria Canals-Barrera. So we're bringing the Justice League to town,
right?
Susan Eisenberg is a good friend, voices Wonder Woman, and then Carl Lumley. I was so excited to get him. So excited because he's just been in the new Captain America movie.
Yeah.
He was in the Telltale Heart on Netflix last year, and
Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah,
and he was in Supergirl too, right?
Yeah.
He was like Martian Manhunter's dad.
Father. So he played Martian Manhunter in Justice League, and then his own father.
Right.
And then Phil Lamar was his nephew in Supergirl. If you remember, Phil Lamar showed up on that.
Oh, right.
As Martian Manhunter's brother. So it was really cool. And then we got fantastic artists like Keith Williams is a machine. Mark Bagley, my favorite Spider-Man artist of all time. She canceled, unfortunately, so we needed to take her down. Lily and her father, Steven, had to cancel due to some family issues.
Still check him out.
Yeah.
Jim, who we got here?
Jim Ousley. Yeah. He's a local writer who works for Red 5 Comics. He's done a lot of St. Louis based horror type comics for Red 5, like The Atonement Bell.
Yeah.
All sorts of fun stuff that he's done. And then, we've got, who else? We just added David Michelini. So for you comic book fans out there, co-creator of Carnage, co-creator of Venom. He's got the second longest run on Spider-Man after Stan Lee. He wrote a huge run on Iron Man. And then, we have artist Rick Leonardi coming in, who's a fantastic artist. He did the classic cover for, X-Men number 201, first appearance of Baby Cable, where Storm and Cyclops are fighting. He did a lot of work. He just did the, new What If Robin Had Lived with J.M. DeMatteis from DC. Fantastic artist. So yeah, we've got just a huge pool of talent. And then for the Justice League too, we've got Dan Reba coming in, who was a director and storyboard artist for Justice League, Batman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Ben 10. And then Alan Burnett was a writer and executive producer. He was one of the writers for Batman Mask of the Phantasm. He wrote Ozzy and Drix. He did a bunch of stuff for Justice League Action. So we're trying to bring in all the really cool people who I would want to see if I went to a con.
Yeah.
And we're keeping it themed. So this year's theme is superheroes. And we've already got, as long as we do break even, this year, we've got plans for a theme for year 2 and year 3. And we've already got guests in mind who we're going to reach out to. So.
Wow. Very impressive. Like, not a small undertaking. Like you said, this is a full-time job.
Yeah.
Running one of these cons. So, kudos to you and your team of all your people making this happen. This episode will drop this week or early next at the latest. We're 6 weeks out from this event. May 23rd through the 25th getting tickets. Let's talk about tickets. What kind of options you got for people?
You're going to have just the one day. If you're like, it's Memorial Day weekend, we're going out of town, but I can come on Friday. Or you know what? We're going to have some family stuff going on, but we're free on Sunday. Or if people want to do all 3 days, because it's like, whoa, we're going to have 3 days to spend with these people and do these events and hear the panels. And we've got Tabletop Masters. We'll be having board game demonstrations all throughout the Steel Shop. The Fantasy Shop, who is bringing in the Justice League, will be doing similar things at the Foundry. They're going to be there set up for if you want to play some games or whatnot. And then we've got Two Plumbers also supplying some arcade games at the Steel Shop. So there's lots to do all weekend long. And you save basically $20 by getting a weekend pass for the all 3 days. You're basically getting 1 day free.
You basically get a day free, you get a bundle pricing. Maybe you don't know if you're going to go to all 3 days. Get all three. Maybe you will. Cause like, why not? There's so much going on where you're going to be like, I had so much fun Saturday or Friday. I got to see what's happening the next day. And, you shouted out some of your partners and vendors, like sponsors. Like who's helping put this on? Like, I definitely want to give some love to the people that are like stepping up.
Yeah, we had the City of St. Charles, the City County Library of St. Charles. They were fantastic because we said we'd love to bring in Roy Thomas. He's a writer, and we do stuff like that all the time. We'd love to help you bring in Roy Thomas. So huge shout out to them. I mentioned the Fantasy Shop with 4 locations around the St. Louis area, and they are bringing in the Justice League. We've got Alexander Realty. Jen Oliver is a fantastic individual, and if you're looking to get your own Wayne Manor, she's the person to talk to, and she's sponsoring the Princess Bar. We're going to call it the Princess Bar if you're a Wolverine fan. So she's sponsoring the bar while they're there. Endless Comics and Games. They've got a location
at Scotty's shop.
Yeah. That's a fantastic store. And they're bringing in Mark Bagley. So they're responsible for that. We've got Cloud9 Comics, who is bringing in Rick Burchett, who did our poster for us, who did a lot of the art, who did that fantastic sketch cover that I had earlier, with the recreation of the Scarecrow's first Silver Age appearance. He's going to be there signing stuff too. So they brought him in. We've got, obviously the Cozy Shop, another St. Charles business that said, what can we do to help? We've got Bugs Comics and Games, who are bringing in David Michelini. The Foundry Art Center is hosting all of our animation people and event. And of course, Two Plumbers is hosting our Conan showing. So they were huge with that. And then just, First Capital Trading Inc. It was if you like Loungefly, or if you're into the new Jellycat toys, it's a huge sensation all of a sudden. They got you stocked up on all that kind of stuff. So you can go check out First Capital Trading Inc. on North Main. Just like I said, all these businesses, Cardinal Sin, we mentioned for their tasting. So it's been great. And then obviously Tony Viviano is providing all the food that Chef Liz will be making for our guests. So they're getting good food cooked by someone who knows how to do it. So all of our guests should leave fat and happy.
And Tenacious Eats is thrilled to license Conan.
Yes.
I said it without shaking.
I know.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, way to go. Yes. And collaborating with Chef Liz. And we made you talk a lot, James. You're doing a great job promoting this event. And that's why I wanted this to be front and center today, because it takes a lot to talk about a Comic-Con. And honestly, it's fun. You get to hear about every single thing that's going to be there. Chef Liz, what are you thinking about Comic-Con? Let's hear from you.
Oh man. When he was talking about this and you were working on everything and all the details, like you said, there have been so many cons that start up and leave, or they don't come back, or they change. I was so excited to know someone who's a true fan and wants everyone else to have that fan experience. I was so excited. I'm like, please let this happen. Please let this happen, because I haven't been to a good con in a while. And I love the fact that all the sponsors are local. All the sponsors are vested in our community and the fans that are actually coming. So I think it's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I might escape the green room a few times.
I know Ben has already said, he's like, I'm going to wander out there and I want to meet this guy. I want to talk to Phil Lamar. So yeah, I expect some wandering.
Ben was a huge Samurai Jack fan.
Ooh, me too.
So he's going to behave, but his email address is riverben10, and then so Ben 10, yeah. So we're going to behave. We promise.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
But I'm just excited because being a fan and really wanting to have a great experience at a con. Sometimes they're so corporate that you feel a little, I don't know, alienated if you're not. I don't know. You're coming, you pay for the ticket, and it's just a process.
Yeah.
I don't feel
Totally.
like, I
Just moving the cattle through.
yeah. So I'm really excited to meet some incredible artists and the Justice League.
Oh my gosh.
I'm working on right now trying to figure out what the Justice League food will be. You know what I mean? Like, I think I have an idea for Hawk Girl, but I don't know. I still have to work on it.
We know people can buy tickets to attend, but right now, can vendors and sponsors still sign up, or is it too late for anything like that?
We're
asking for a friend.
No, we're in our final throws for that, because obviously we want to get the floor map scheduled out and know who's coming and what to do. So yeah, we did a final call. We've been going to some Comic Cons and soliciting people. Like went to I'd like to buy a vowel. Big River Comic Con in Hannibal. We went to Planet Comic Con soliciting. You
just had them on your show, right?
Yeah. Deb who runs that's a fantastic. I picked her brain a lot when I'm getting into this. Like what do I need to look out for? She was super helpful. Mitch Halleck from Terrific Con was stayed on the phone with me for an hour and a half talking about here's what you want to do. Make sure you don't do this. Don't rely too heavily on this. So I've luckily had some great people that I can lean on to kind of ask what to do and make sure I don't do it wrong right out of the gate. But no, it's very exciting. I've forgotten already what I was saying.
No, it's okay. We're going to help you promote the show. So just count us in for a promotional engine, because if nothing else, I have enough friends in town that have vouched for you, James, already, and Liz. I know it's the other sketchy people, Liz. It's the same sketchy people that we both know that have vouched for all of us. And I'm a fan, and me and Andy and Scotty, we want to see cons like this success and be more than the corporate printout Comic Cons we've seen. So count us in to promote at least.
Thank you.
Invite us to collaborate on posts. Let us tell our people about it. We'll send as many as we can, grab a lot of footage, come back, tell some stories, and help keep this thing happening, because you're already looking ahead to making it repeat. So at least count us in from that side. And then guess what? We've made tons of nerdy friends over the last almost 6 years or so.
Imagine.
Let's bring them all,
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's all get together for a weekend and get nerdy. This is awesome.
Yeah, and that's where your question was. We do have vendor spaces still available. We've got I think we've got.
So you still could get in.
Yeah, we got about 10% of our floor left open now still. We've filled already 90% of it, which is incredible.
Friends of Mostly Superheroes. Listen, you could get a spot at Two Rivers Comic Con. Like, we got a few friends that would definitely jump at the chance, willing to spend a little bit to even get that spot and make a good experience. So.
Yeah. I even love how much thought you put into after the event. I love the idea of the wristband getting you into an arcade. Oh my gosh. And the bourbon, I tried the bourbon, by the way. I had to try it ahead of time so I could share what my thoughts were. And the brown sugar bourbon.
One. Oh my gosh. You could just sip on that all day. Oh,
I might do that.
Yeah, Bill at Cardinal Sin really knows his stuff, and it's if you've never been to Cardinal Sin, it's so good.
It's on the it's gonna add to the list. Sam, the sleeper on our podcast, he's a big whiskey guy.
Okay, yeah, he'll love it.
So we need to maybe add this to our list. So yeah, make sure you plan some time to enjoy the con yourself, as hard as that is, and also afterwards too. It's like, let's enjoy every second of it, and that's a celebration. Then celebrate it, but like, we're just looking forward to this thing kicking off. Andy, any questions for James or Liz about Comic-Con, Two Rivers Comic-Con?
Right. Yeah. We've been literally asking for this for years. So thank you guys for bringing this to,
thank you.
To fruition. Like literally. And I love that it has the local STL spin for sure. Are there any, it sounds like from the Tenacious Eats events that you guys like surprises. Are there any other type of surprises, anything that people might expect?
We were...
Obviously you can't say them now, but so it's
kind of it wouldn't be a surprise.
Just a yes, no answer.
Teasers.
We've got another artist who I'd really like to bring in, but we're just trying to see if you're listening right now and you've got some money and you want to sponsor an artist. There's someone I'd really love to bring in. It's just a matter of finding that line between making sure we don't overspend.
Yeah.
So I will tease it that we have another artist who would pair really well with one of our other guests who's already been announced, that I would love to bring in. So if you're listening, you can go to Two Rivers Comic Con, hit the Contact Us tab, and let us know. I will also tease that this year's theme is superheroes. If we break even, we're going to do a year two. Year two's theme is 80s and 90s.
Oh, nice.
And we've already got guests, both comic-wise and
nice.
Everything planned, who we want to reach out to. So just a little bit of a tease as long as it works.
The producer and me is thrilled that you've told me that. I can get to work, James. We can get to work. And then what'd you bring?
These just for because we've got a couple of CGC facilitators at our event to do the signings, because we've got Mark Bagley and David McElhaney and Roy Thomas and everything. So I'm just going to bring some examples. Like Rick Burchett did the poster art for us. He's local, worked on Batman Adventures, so he did a cover recreation of Detective Comics number 73 in the style of Batman animated series. So just like you can get, the artist will do cover sketches and everything like that. This was Kevin Conroy signed his posthumous Eisner Award that he got. He signed it like 3 months before he passed away, and it breaks my heart, but we've got the cast of the Justice League coming. So I'm not sure, is that about the right angle to hold it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. And then because Roy Thomas is going to be there, he wrote, obviously, Conan, editor of Marvel Comics, so I had a signed What If by Roy Thomas. And then because we do have Mark Bagley, who is my favorite Spider-Man artist ever, I brought this one's a triple sign, Mark Bagley, Keith Williams, who will also be at the show, and it's also signed by Al Milgram, who we're probably going to have for our second year as long as the first year is a break-even mark.
Once I had the opportunity to have you and James, it was really nice. So
Thank
again,
you.
like we're
Gosh,
getting our start here and we're doing our thing, but you know about all of that. You're part of the radio system. You do a lot on your own. You're producing events. Tip of the hat to you. Tip of the hat to you, Chef Liz, for honestly just leaning into your passions and things that you like and that you care about, and that also tie to your community. And just trying.
Yeah.
I think just trying is something just to say, like, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot. I got my health. I got my ideas. I'm sure you guys feel those things a lot. So we just want to say good job, and we're looking at you. Good job.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on. This was
thanks
fantastic.
for having us. I just got to say, this is the most comfortable media that I ever get to do. You have the most comfy chairs.
Thanks, Dad. That's my dad. He got these for us when we got started.
Oh, nice.
Shout out the Shed Vapes.
Shout out the Shed Vapes. That's his small business down in Bonne Terre. I grew up in
how
Bonne
about
Terre.
that?
Bonne Terre.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I could fall asleep in this chair. This is lovely. Oh.
I think I got to get one for home.
You guys want to come back?
Yeah.
Please.
Love to.
Do it again.
Love to.
Let's keep hanging out and swapping nerdy stuff. We got to hang out with you for the second time, but this is our first time, James. So we get to know you. Let's hang out again and just get to some nerdy stuff.
I think we're talking about trying to put together a trivia team for your, television and film trivia night?
Yeah, we host TV and film trivia bingo. Next one's April 24th at Four Hands Brewing downtown. Free to play and amazing prizes from around town. So we throw those on.
Are people allowed to wear capes?
Oh yes, I'm pushing more of like little mini Comic-Cons at these events. Like we're trying to have sometimes we'll have there might be the Voltron mascot might show up, or maybe Mr. Citywide will come by, or Apotheosis Comics might have a tables. Like we're just trying to make it a community market night, and we partner with our friends Team Jakey and Provident Health, so we bring mental health resources to everything we're doing. So like if you're just like, I just need to get out and see people and maybe check on my mental health.
And have a few beers.
Yeah. NA or not. You can do anything you like. So yeah, we're doing that kind of stuff. We've talked about teaming up.
Yeah.
It sounds like we have plenty to maybe try some stuff out on, and maybe we can work together a little bit, both of you, James and Chef Liz. I'd love to collaborate.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love it.
I absolutely, and I get this kind of Justice League feel.
I know.
This group. Yeah.
And the chairs here around the table,
God,
I know.
I mean, it's literally the Flash. You're in a Joker chair, I think.
Yeah.
Superman.
It's either that or if we just had a camera right in the middle, it'd be just that 70s show. Circles.
We would need some more supplies.
Yes,
if that was the case.
I know the people to get that. Yeah.
All right, Chef Liz, Tenacious Eats, James Install from Geek to Me Radio, and Andy the Giggler and Logan Janis here from Mostly Superheroes. That's the show. We'll see you next time.
Thank you very much to Logan and Andy for having us out. Mostly Superheroes. Check them out wherever you get your podcast from. And as he mentioned, we are going to do the movie TV trivia at Four Hands. It's this coming Thursday. They still have people open. If you want to come out and register for that, check out the website. Just Google Mostly Superheroes Podcast, and you can find the link to that event. It's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be no beating my team. I've got Chef Liz and Chef Steve on. We've got our friend Janelle, who's been on the show several times talking movies. So we're probably going to dominate. I don't like to brag, but there we are. But what a fun time that was. So if you get a chance, check out Mostly Superheroes wherever you get your podcasts from. Hopefully we'll be collaborating with them more in the future. And thank you to Chef Liz for all that she's been doing lately to help me get this con off the ground. And all the sponsors really have been just fantastic. All the sponsors, I can't say enough good things. But as it is, we've already come to the end of another show. This has been so much fun. I always prefer to have Joey V in studio with me. because it's a little lonely. I'm not going to lie. But Joey V was running the video remotely, so thank you to Joey V for doing that. Thank you to all of you who listen. I saw a bunch of you in the chats as it was airing the interview, so I couldn't really give you shout-outs while I was doing pre-recorded interviews, but I saw you all there. Thank you very much. I saw Chance and Patrick and Spike and Bill and Shannon and who else was in the BK was in there. So Joseph, thank you to all of you who watched tonight, even though it was a static image. We'll be back next week with a live stream. We've got some fantastic guests next week as well. Thank you to Wunmi Mosaku. Check out Sinners movie in theaters now. Thank you to Titus Welliver. Check out Bosch Season 3 on Amazon. Thank you to Mostly Superheroes and Chef Liz. And thank you, all of you. And until next week, my friends.
This is Geek to Me Radio. That's our show. This is Geek to Me Radio.
Thank you, Shrewsbury. Good night.
The Big 550 KTRS.
ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot. Democrats are calling for the resignation